back, and how big was your viewership when you realized that you should do something with it?
I think we were getting somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 to 50,000 views a video.
And then was this something that, like, there are lots of people that are getting 20 to 50,000 views a video that don't necessarily have this compulsion to then go out and do something like Project for Awesome. Was it something you conceived of beforehand that you knew when you kind of established this, or like what do you think was different about your experience, and why do you think you're starting it and it kind of hasn't happened, permeated throughout the whole kind of online video space?
Well, I think one of the reasons, I think it was all relative back then. Like 20 to 50,000 views was huge on YouTube. And there was a community just like there is now, and you know, we were consistently in the top, you know, top 50, top 100 for views that day with that audience, which of course gets you in the top, you know, 10 million now. So it was, but there was a community, and people knew that it was special. People knew that it was going to grow, and it was really interesting and compelling, and so because of that, there was a lot of energy around it, even though by today's standards it would seem very small, but then it seemed very big. And which is something that I often say to people who say, my YouTube channel is really small. I'm like, well, I did it for a year before it was as big as you, so how long have you been doing it? Sometimes more than a year, and then I feel like a jerk, but... and yeah, so I think we were compelled because it felt like a really big deal to us. And you know, we weren't really sure what we were doing, but we knew that the best things to do for our audience tended to be the things where we were doing stuff together, and this seemed like you know, it was my idea, and John agreed that it sort of like captured a lot of different things that were really good about what we were doing, that it brought people together, that it was interactive, and people could contribute to it in ways that didn't necessarily have to be money, and that it's used sort of like our strengths, which were like, you know, our knowledge of gaming YouTube, which was and remains very important to being a successful YouTube creator. As much as YouTube says that it's impossible, it's not, and it's just a lot harder, especially if you're on a large audience. And that we were pretty good by that point of making videos after doing it for 8 months, or more than that, 12 months.
Then, Lori, going through some of your just social media and online video activity, I see that you participated in Project for Awesome. Was that like kind of a catalyst to get you more involved in kind of online video and using that as a tool?
Well, in 2009, I didn't see Esther for about 2 days. All she did was hit return and letters and like, and, you know,
yeah.
I mean, the idea was to take over.
For those who don't know, like part of how you would get promoted on YouTube was getting lots of comments and ratings and subscriptions and favorites on your videos, and so we would have armies of people staying home from school.
She was home anyway, so it was good.
You know, sitting like just writing out the lyrics to Never Gonna Give You Up one word at a time.
But actually, then the following year, I don't know if it's 2010, 2011. Yeah, we found lots of people were making videos about The Star Will Go Out, and it was just one of the avenues for promotion. I think one of the main things that I noticed, like we've got tiny organizations and big organizations here, and social media is like a tool that everybody can use. And the biggest power comes in collaboration, I think. So for somebody small, if you get other people to help collaborate, and you know, we get lots of viewership when Hank or John retweet one of our posts, so so don't necessarily look at our subscribers, look at their views. So.
Yeah.
And then, with the No Bull project, you guys have used online video actually in really interesting ways. It's a central part of your kind of organization and getting the word out there. How do you compel other people to make videos for what you guys are doing?
Well, having personally experienced like being all depressed, and I had to kind of turn to YouTube and I guess the online world to deal with that depression. And I feel like a bunch of other students are experiencing the same thing. So when we go out and speak for schools and do like assemblies, we encourage them to make videos, and we tell them the story about how when we entered the No Bull Challenge the first year, we had never made a serious video ever. Like, it was just like, oh, let's videotape this because it looks funny and put it on YouTube and get 10 views and be happy with it. But like, this is the first video we were serious about and like actually cared about. And so we had no clue how to make it. We were like Googling how to do this using Sony Vegas. And like, I don't know, just making a film is such a unique way to stand up to bullying, because you're not directly going up to the bully and saying, hey, don't do that, that's not cool. But the bully or a victim or a bystander can see the video and take who knows what away from it. So we kind of encourage them to step up in that way. And then and also the lucrative prizes of the No Bull Challenge. I think that gets their interest, but I think that by the time they finish making their videos, they can care less about the prizes, or at least in our case, that's how it was, because we realized how big of an impact our video was making on the online world, and in ways that we could have never possibly known.
Is there one thing that you've said or done that's been particularly helpful in getting people to actually contribute? Like, I'm really interested about, with all of you actually, but about the point at which you get like other people to care. Like, kind of what's been most effective in getting other people to care?
When I do assembly, or when we do assemblies, I share my personal story with bullying and depression and thoughts of suicide, and I think that kind of gets me on a personal level with people. It makes the bullies think, dang, like, I don't think about that when I meet with somebody. It makes the victims know that they're not alone, and it makes the bystanders know that they have the power to step up. And then offering them with the challenge to make a video is just our call to action. Say, what are you guys going to do about it after we leave? And we challenge them to get together with some friends, make some anti-bullying videos, and submit it to the challenge.
And Seth, when we talked a little bit before the panel, like you mentioned how the Thirst Project doesn't necessarily have a huge YouTube presence in and of itself, but you're still able to leverage online video to really spread the word around. Can you talk about that experience and how it's been?
Yeah, I mean, I think, kind of speaking to what Lori said, like, for us, we don't necessarily strive to have, like, the biggest following, whether it's on YouTube or whether it's on Twitter or anywhere. I mean, we've just been really fortunate that we could align ourselves with influencers who genuinely resonate with the cause and care about the issue of the water crisis. And so we can say to them, look, can we leverage your network, your audience to care about what we're doing? Can you create a piece of content that you push out, giving them total freedom to do so? And whether it's around a campaign, whether it's around a fundraising initiative or just an awareness initiative, having them take that and push it out to their audience has really been the most effective. So similarly, we don't always say like, hey, come follow us or come, subscribe or like. We really just want, for us it's a win if people know and care about the water crisis, people are taking action about the global water crisis. It doesn't really matter to us whether they're coming to Thirst Project to do it or whether they're coming to our page to do it. So there are lots of pieces out there that talk about Thirst Project or push to us for, for giving or taking action, but that we aren't necessarily creating. We're hopefully finding people who we can share the message with and connect with them in their hearts to do it.
How did you find those influencers when you first started, and how do you find them now?
Well, it's different now than it was when we first started. I mean, when we first started, it was literally just a few friends here and there. We're located in LA, which is somewhat advantageous sometimes in being able to reach out to friends or people. And as we've grown, obviously, friends beget friends. And so once one or two influencers are on board and say, yeah, we really care about this, we like it, that tends to be shared naturally, or we'll ask them to share it with other people. So we're pretty intentional about making asks and kind of unapologetic too. I think if you're able to be like at a place like this right now, and this is our first time at VidCon, but the thing is, and I can't speak for every influencer or YouTuber, because I know that they're overwhelmed all the time, people coming up, but I think if you can be succinct and be respectful of time, but also like have something that's genuinely valuable and making an impact that resonates with their heart, and give them an easy outlet to leverage their position and voice to do it, ask. Because, I mean, if they say no, like, I sort of liken it to we have a lot of friends who are actors, and I'm like, I get rejected all the time. I'm like, I get rejected like 40 times out of the people that I ask to help us, but that one person who has like 500,000 people following them is all we need to get to the next person. So it's really just been asking.
And that's still, so today, I mean, do you have more people that find you too as well?
Now, yeah, it wasn't always that way. And interestingly too, that model has sort of translated into how we do our school programs as well. So we now release every month a new cause campaign, and it vacillates between whether it's YouTubers who are the influencers or leveraging like traditional, or I don't know, called non-online video people, but other media people who, we will run a campaign every month where it has an easy action or activity that students can do in their campus to take action against the water crisis, either as an awareness campaign or a fundraising campaign. So like, for example, we do every year our Dirty Little Secret campaign, and the idea is that we posture the biggest dirty little secret in the world is the fact that there are 1 billion people almost without safe water, and most people still don't quite know about it. So we ask people to carry around a bottle of dirty water with them everywhere they go for the entire month of March, and people say, what the heck are you doing? Why do you have this nasty bottle of water with you? And they can share that message. So it's strictly an awareness campaign. But Bella Thorne from Disney Shake It Up is the face of that campaign, or was this year, and so pushing out to her audience, we now have people from the Disney circuit who come and say like, I want to get involved, I want you to bring you to my school, I want you to, start a campaign at my, my class or my club, and so it's been, those people are sort of the initial touch point, but then it resonates sort of throughout their pool of people.
I think, so all of you, all of you have touched lives and touch those lives for the better, and that's like an achievement in and of itself. And the end goal would be to eradicate the diseases and eradicate the need for charitable water. But what's like, I want to know kind of like what's like a realistic goal for the near future? Like, where do you see this going? Like, what's a win for you now or next year?
Me?
Hank, what you start?
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, you can't hope to have everyone in the world be healthy, everyone in the world have clean water, and no one in the world treat each other like crap. It's just, so there is, sometimes in nonprofits, it's easy to burn out in that way and feel like, fighting a losing battle, whether it's against a government or against a disease or against human nature. But the goals are always incremental, and they're always changing, and it's always worthwhile. My friend Sean with the Uncultured Project, a story that makes me weird. Sorry if I break off in the middle. He says there's a guy and there's a bunch of starfish that have washed up on the beach, and there's him and his son, and his son's collecting all the starfish and trying to get them back out into the water, and the dad says, "Come on, you're not gonna save all the starfish, man." And the kid's like, "But I'm gonna save these ones," which is like, that's what we're doing. Like, you're not gonna save all the starfish, but like, who cares? You can make any change. You can make little changes. You can make people's lives a little better. You can, 200,000 people have clean water because of the Thirst Project. Like, it's 200,000 people.